Up freaks. Um, I didn't make a video yesterday because I got major allergies. I still have. I'm sick. I got the sniffles, and I'm coughing here and there. But I'm feeling a little better. Um, Today was weird. Uh, Especially the morning. Nothing usually happens in the morning, but this morning, ah, I can't show you anymore because the person got blocked or like reported, I guess, because the chat's not there anymore. But this morning, I woke up to a friend request on Snapchat, and I thought that was pretty weird because that's never happened to me before. And I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to talk to other people. I've been wanting to make international friends actually, but I don't know how to do that. um. Anyway, so I accepted this person's friend request. Right. Her name is Cassie, allegedly a woman. Um. And then I accepted the friend request. Thought nothing of it. Moved on, and by moved on, I mean I slept again. And then I woke up 30 minutes later and I had two messages from Cassie um, asking what I'm doing, something along those lines. I could have shown you, but the chat's gone. Anyway, it was weird. For the first few, like 10 minutes of the conversation, it was pretty uh, normal stranger interaction, I guess. Like, oh, where do you live? How old are you? Those things. And then this was like 30 minutes. This whole conversation lasted only around 30 minutes. So things are okay. I was skeptical. I was not convinced I was talking to a real person here, let alone a woman. Um at some point I just kept saying, "Look, I'm not convinced I'm talking to someone real here." But they kept responding with witty remarks that made me question, like, maybe I am talking to this Cassie person, because I would say something like, I'm not convinced that you're a real person, and then they would respond by saying, haha, yeah, I'm actually an alien, I'm caught now. That's such a witty response. I'm sure I'm talking to someone. I don't mean they're not a real person in a literal sense. I'm just saying they're not there for conversing. They're there for something else. Like, they have a different agenda is what I'm trying to say. And I was right. Because at some point they just dropped the OnlyFans link on me, saying, "Oh, I'd like to talk to you better, and for you to see my private side, here's my OnlyFans link." And I responded by saying, "God damn it, Cassie! I thought this was a genuine interaction between humans." And it was weird. They were responding in a way that s- someone would respond. Um, she said, "I'm sorry I made you feel that way," and something along those something it was a little guilt trippy, whatever she said. And and then and then I said, "I do not care about your OnlyFans." Like, I'm I told them that, to clarify, I am neither horny or looking for a relationship, so whatever you're doing here, it's not gonna work, because those those things are trivial to me at the moment. So I told them that if that's what they're looking for here, then they should try somewhere else because I'm just not that guy, you know. And then they responded by saying they thought I was really cool and they just wanted to talk more. And I'm like, okay, you know, they dropped the link, which is I thought that was it. I thought it ended there because you know mission failed. They didn't get me to go to their OnlyFans, but then we talked a bit more, and then they were kind of humoring how I was speaking, which was a little. I was I was kind of I was kind of practicing my social skills there because this was a total stranger. I was practicing how I would interact, which was pretty standard, I'd say. And then at some point we got to talking about school. She asked me, they asked me what course I'm in. I said um psychology, and then they said they were in digital design, and they asked me if I want to see their art. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's cool. Show me your art, send a pic. They sent me a snap of this allegedly Cassie person, just a Caucasian woman. Uh, I don't know how to describe it. It was a white woman. Um, and then she followed it up. They followed it up with a question, cute question mark. And I'm like, I guess you look fine. That's what I said. I guess you look fine. And then I followed it up with, so where's the art? And then they responded with, ha ha ha, it's me. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're saying you're the art. That's clever. And then they asked me again, did you like? And I'm like, no. I, you were supposed to show me art. And then they just dropped the OnlyFans link again. So I'm guessing this was either a bot that was handling a conversation a little well. If it was like a subpar bot, it was pretty convincing, some of it. Or if it was a person, because my friend told me there are people paid to do this. If it was a person, dude, you should have just stopped at the first rejection of the link. You were not gonna get me by humoring me a little bit more. So that was my morning. That was like 30 minutes of my life that was spent on that. I thought I was having a pretty nice conversation. Am I that deprived of human interaction in a progressive sense that I actually kind of enjoyed talking even though they were shoving down their OnlyFans into my brain. I kind of enjoyed speaking. I kind of enjoyed my part more than their responses. Their responses were kind of, it is pretty weird to say the least. I enjoyed the way I talked. I was like, okay, maybe if I am to talk to a stranger again, it would turn out well because I actually conversed well with whoever I was talking to. I was a decent person. At least I'd like to think I was a decent person. Um, so yeah, that was my morning. Um, I don't know if I should mention the other one because I kind of have a secret going on that like one or two people know. It's not a major secret. It's not like if you find out about the secret, it's gonna change your life. It's just something I'm doing that's a little. It's not out of character, but the fact that I'm keeping it a tight secret is out of character. I'm pretty much an open book. You know, the this is already evident in this video log series thing I'm doing. I talk a lot. Um Anyway, let's just say within this secret thing, there's an interaction happening, and I'm confident that this one is a real person, and I'm pretty interested in where it's going. It's not romantic or uh lewd in any sense, nothing like that. No, it's pretty generic if I'm to describe it, but it's interesting because I don't know this person. This person may be from a different country, you know? And I just think that's cool. Anyway, that's that. You guys probably have an idea what it is anyway. It's no biggie. I just no one knows what the two people that know about the secret don't even know the account. They don't know what I do there or what I post there. So anyway, my dog went in. Um, I've been sleeping a lot the past 2 days. Um, had a weird dream earlier. It was a pretty cool dream, but it was a weird dream because I technically reinvented the way skeletons work in my head. You know those undead skeletons that you fight in games. In media, right? In media, necromancers have like a gem on their forehead or wherever else. They have like a core that you have to destroy so that they die, right? Um in my dream, it wasn't a core. We could call it a core if that were the case, to make it more uh palatable, I guess. But in my dream, it wasn't only necromancers that have this core, and every skeleton had a core. So it kind of justified in my head that okay, this skeleton is alive because it has a core. Because it never made sense to me why this basic skeleton, was moving and attacking, but you can just eh, kill them in one strike. It was weird. So in my head, they didn't have a stone, they didn't have a gem. They had miniature versions of their own skeleton skull as cores. And okay, so for example, you were fighting a basic skeleton, right? Let's say inside his rib cage or inside his skull, therein lies another miniature version of his skull, and you have to destroy that in order to kill the skeleton, basically. And the weird thing about that is when the tiny core, the tiny skeleton head, has realized that you've noticed its presence, um, it will shout, it will scream and shout very annoyingly. So in my dream, I was just a normal guy in a medieval setting, and I was killing skeletons. There was one part there where there was a car or truck. I don't know why there was a car or a truck in the medieval setting, but I grabbed the skeleton by the neck and behind the rib cage, right? And I kept bashing him into the side of the vehicle, and then the tiny skeleton head popped out and it kept screaming at me, and I grabbed it and I crushed it. So yeah, so that's how I dream. uh, that's kind of fun. I should keep track of my dreams and tell you guys, right? Sometimes I don't get dreams though. Sometimes it's just pure darkness, which I don't know what to make of that. You would think that if it was just pure darkness, I wouldn't be aware of the pure darkness. But I kind of do. I am aware when it's just pure darkness, which is weird. But you know, I'll read a book about that at some point. It's dream psychology. It's kind of pseudoscience, I guess, but maybe there's some insight into it. Uh, I'm a little late today in making this, so it's going to be May 6th when this comes out, not May 5, because it right now it's 12:05 a.m. But let's just say this video is for May 5. Um, gonna study tomorrow with a friend outside because this coming Saturday we're gonna have a mock board exam for dev psych, and I have to study. Uh, I've been getting into Kazan a few hours ago. Oh, okay. Here's something cool. Here's something cool that completely flipped the switch in my brain earlier. I watched this video, right? And it was like mixed martial arts or but just combat in general. And the coach was saying that if he punches a guy in his same weight class as a spar, it's fine, right? But if he punches someone who's in a lower weight class or like a kid trying to learn or a woman trying to learn, that's a little unfair, right? So what he was demonstrating that control is a skill. Like we're all aware of how we have to train our endurance, we have to train our stamina, durability of our bodies, our strength when it comes to these things, weight training. But rarely does control ever get talked about. Like you have to be precise. You have you have to be mentally aware with how much force you're outputting, right? And I thought that was super cool because control is a skill, like maybe unconsciously or without even saying it, all of us are already aware of this concept, but saying it out loud, being aware of it, it's kind of it flipped a switch in my brain. I so it kind of made me more aware, like faster processing time or reaction time in my head, right? I was playing Kazan. This is gonna be funny because it's in a game context and not applied to any real life thing yet. I was playing Kazan and I've only died 3 times, and I'm already done with the first major boss. And now I'm farming that first major boss for their armor and weapons. I'm like before when I played Kazan before, I was having such a hard time dodging and parrying. But now I'm like, why are these characters so slow? It kind of flipped the switch in my head where control is a skill. I didn't have pure manual control over my brain. I know, maybe all of us have this sometimes, but we kind of run an autopilot almost every day with the routine we have. And, um, we kind of work with familiarity and go from there. Anything else that's new, it's a little, it's a little scary, a little more tiring to do. But once you learn that control is a skill, like if you min max the output of your brain, the processing power of your brain, it's pretty cool. Um, so I'm gonna try that out tomorrow when I study, and I'll tell you guys how it goes. Um, what else? We're already at 19 minutes, and I'm not remotely done to. I'm not even remotely done talking. Uh, I say that, but I can't speak or think of anything to talk about. Actually, hold on. I had a topic yesterday. Nope, not. It's not there. It should be on my phone. I had a topic yesterday because I was asking my friend. Right. Let me look for it here. Um. Okay. We're kind of in a vein of talking about introspective topics anyway, like the concept of love, the concept of being okay while you're alone, right? That's been the mainly the theme. I promise at some point it'll get funny, okay? These videos will get funny at some point. Um but anyway, that's been the theme so far. So let's keep the ball rolling. Um I was asked, let's modify the question a little bit. How do you know you're going to become the person you want to be? Right? Because change is constant. We'll always change. I think, but at the same time, change is kind of a choice. You know, there are things that will change, have to change, and there are things that remain consistent, like personality. You know, psychology dictates that there are persistent patterns of behavior that make up a person. So, um, I think, and this is my own personal opinion on the question. I think when you reach your goals in in a self satisfying level where you feel like, yes, this is it. I'm actually doing what I want to do. I'm seeing the road I want to take. I'm 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 watering my grass, you know. My grass is becoming greener type of thing. I think what makes you feel like you're becoming the person you want to be is if there are parts of the person you were that remained with you until you reach the point of the person you wanted to be. And that kind of sounds confusing now that I heard it myself. It means 5 years from now, let's say 5 years from now, I want to be living in a different country with my cat, hopefully a partner, but that's not a priority. Um, I have a good place that I live in. I have a car. Let's say those are the goals, right? And let's say I'm there. Let's say I'm there. Would I be happy with the person I am at that point, having all of those things? If I lose this, let's say I lose this, what I'm doing right now, being introspective about things, thinking about life, thinking about thinking, and then having time for myself to actually talk alone, but you know, to a small audience. Um, would I be happy if I don't have this? You know, in some scenarios, you can argue that I might be living a better life even if I don't have what I have right now, which is what I just gave as an example. But how about other things? Um, like like my like my silly card game, right? Like, what if I'm not playing this anymore in 5 years? And again, with every example that I'm gonna give, you can argue that you might live a better life, right? But what I'm trying to say here, I'm kind of defeating my own point. What I'm trying to say here is that if I manage to stay consistent within a few of my quirks and oddities, things that make me unique, things that when other people hear about it, see about it, uh, out and about, they think about you. I think I'd be super happy if I managed to maintain those things. Like, Sometimes I just break into role play with my friends, giving monologues in old English or medieval or Victorian English, and just talking like there's some lore that's going on. Um, Sometimes I like to do that, and if in the future I'm not doing that anymore, I feel like I would become a very boring person if I stop doing that. Um, with jokes as well. I like to keep making jokes even when I'm gray haired and dying. You know, if ever in the future, let's say I'm like 50 years old and I have cancer, I'd be like, if I have stage 2 cancer, I would make a joke like, oh, just stage 2. Wow, I gotta up my game and get to stage 3, right? That's the next level. I'd make those jokes. That's very morbid. And you should not joke about cancer. I'm just saying, if I had cancer, I would make that joke because I have the cancer. But don't make jokes like that, okay? That's the okay. See, this is why this is dangerous if it's unedited and uncut, because those things might give the wrong impression. I do not condone those things, okay? Only joke about it when you're actually experiencing it. Um. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's move on from that. Yeah, I feel like, me personally, with the question of how will you know if you're becoming the person you want to be? I think I think I'm becoming the person I want to be if parts of my old self remain consistent. Good parts anyway, Don't retain the bad parts, obviously. Things that you're aware that need to be changed, change them. Like, make the move. Don't avoid the hard work just cuz it's uncomfortable, or the thought of it is agonizing. You work through the agony. Willpower. Willpower isn't the absence of struggle. Willpower is the strength to keep going even if you're struggling. And the only way you get willpower is if you do it while struggling. Um, and you actually want to be better. So yeah, that's I think that's all I wanted to talk about. It's a little We're reaching 30-minute territory now, so I need to be more succinct with these conversations that I have with you guys. Um, I'll post one tomorrow. I promise I'll make up for yesterday because I had allergies and I'm still sick. But I'll be okay, hopefully, because I need to study. Um, yeah. Good night. Good afternoon. Good morning. Take care on the way to work. Take care on the way to school. Eat well. Sleep well. Um, and go do that thing you wanted to do. It'll be great. You just have to keep doing it. All right. Bye, folks.